Please welcome to the stage Sarita Gupta, Vice President of U.S. Programs at the Ford Foundation.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us today for a very special edition of Ideas at Ford with Charles Blow, a conversation series that brings together leaders from a wide range of backgrounds to delve into the most challenging issues that we face today. We at the Ford Foundation have a strong tradition of investing in institutions, individuals, and ideas at the forefront of social justice, from climate to culture to the state of our economy. But one of the most pressing issues that cuts across all of our areas of work is gender inequality, and particularly violence against women, which is pervasive and escalating around the world. More than ever, we're seeing women and girls mobilizing and advocating for their rights and safety, and yet backlash against them continues. There is an urgent need for more to be done. Far too often, those who speak out by sharing their personal stories and those of their broader communities pay too high a cost. Speaking out can cost their livelihoods, and in far too many cases, their lives. Tonight, we honor women who, in the face of derision and violence, sought liberation and justice by sharing their stories with the world. These women are beacons of hope and strength, and a signal to others that they are the masters of their own destinies, and their aspirations, even in the most daunting circumstances, can be realized. The Courage Fund's purpose is not only to recognize and celebrate these remarkable women for their bravery and fearlessness, but to confront the endemic of sexual violence and illuminate truths that for far too many, for far too long, have been shrouded in shame and silence. Because it's in silence and darkness where abuse and inequality thrive. Tonight, we listen to honor women who have defied that silence, transforming their pain into power in the face of adversity, to speak up for the benefit of women and girls everywhere. Tonight, we're here to let them know that we are prepared to act. It's a privilege to host our partners at the Courage Fund, which the Ford Foundation helped launch with $1 million in seed funding to further its mission to acknowledge the bravery and sacrifice of those who've spoken out against or survived sexual violence. We invite you to join us in supporting these brave leaders, these survivors, because survivors know how to prevent violence, and they must be central to all solutions for addressing gender-based violence once and for all. I thank all of you for your support and solidarity for women and girls. And with that, I would like to introduce one of the Courage Fund's co-founders and a partner with us in this work, Chief Development Officer of A Call to Men, Ted Bunch.
Thank you, Sarita. Good evening. Thank you, Sarita. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to, first of all, thank some folks before I share just a few remarks. I want to thank Charles Blow for his leadership in being here, and Darren Walker, of course, Camilla Forbes, Leatrice Elzie, Jelani Cobb, Kate Johnson, Octavia Ridout, Juliet Marariwa, Carly Machado, Matthew Cregan, Kylie Holloway, Connie Harvey, and our ambassadors for the Courage Fund, who is Harrison Barnes and John Legend. I'd also like to lift up special thanks to the other co-founders of the Courage Fund, Salamishah Tillet, who you'll hear from in a little bit, Scheherazade Tillet as well, Portia Gardner and Kelly Gerard. Thank you all very much for your leadership and vision in allowing this to happen. I just have a few remarks from being a part of this process, and it's been a real honor. And I'm not only the Chief Development Officer for A Call to Men, but I'm also the co-founder. We founded the organization 22 years ago, Tony Porter and myself, and we're still provide leadership to that organization. The vision of A Call to Men is to create a world where all men and boys are loving and respectful, and all women, girls, and those in the margins are valued and safe. Being part of the Courage Fund with A Long Walk Home, Te-Nehisi Coates, and the Ford Foundation represents a critical moment for A Call to Men, as it allows us to further amplify the voices of those who have been truth tellers about men's violence against women. It's a powerful testament to the resilience and courage of women who have sacrificed so much to bring these unfortunate truths to light. Their bravery has paved the way for us to confront this reality head on, and we must honor their sacrifices by committing ourselves to action. This initiative is about more than just addressing the harm. It's about listening to and uplifting the voices of women who have long called for change and taking real steps to answer that call, and that call is a call to men. For Black men, there's this unique and necessary responsibility to take a stand in awareness and in raising that awareness about these issues, not just within our own communities, but across all communities. Historically, Black women have been at the forefront of the movements for justice, while also enduring compounded effects of racism and sexism. Can I get an amen? As Black men, a woman, as Black men, we have a responsibility to acknowledge this reality and step up, challenging ourselves and other men, Black and otherwise, to understand the role that our silence plays in perpetuating this harm. We know that the overwhelming majority of violence against women is men's violence, but most men aren't violent, but we're silent about those that are, and that's as much of the problem as the violence and abuse is, if not more of the problem, because those men rely on us to be silent. So if we start saying, nah, bruh, you can't even come over here acting like that, right? No, we're not going to do that, right? We have to really hold each other accountable in a way that invites men and doesn't indict men for being men, in a way that calls men in and not just calling men out. That's really important. When we commit to holding ourselves and each other accountable, we help to create a culture where violence against women and girls is no longer tolerated. This is a human rights issue, and men must be the primary part of the solution. If women could have ended men's violence and abuse and discrimination, they would have already. Can I get a woman for that? The Courage Fund is an opportunity for us to support initiatives that are working to end sexual assault and all forms of violence against women. It's a call to action for men to go beyond our passive awareness and actively engage in creating the change we need. By standing in solidarity with A Long Walk Home, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and the Ford Foundation, and Charles Blow, we also stand in pride and commitment to honoring the courage of women who have risked so much to tell their stories and advocate for justice. This moment is about amplifying their voices, and you'll hear from them, two of them later on, acknowledging their sacrifices and taking responsibility as men to foster a world where women and girls can live free from violence and fear. We have a message from our original visionary of the Courage Fund, Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's an award-winning author and journalist and just a badass. I don't know if you've seen any news lately, but he ain't playing. His books include The Water Dancer and most recently, The Message. He's currently a contributing editor at Vanity Fair and the Sterling Brown Endowed Chair in the English Department at Howard University. Here's Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Hi, I'm Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I've been working together with Salamishah and Scheherazade Tillet of A Long Walk Home and Ted Bunch and Tony Porter of A Call to Men to launch the Courage Fund, an initiative that will raise awareness and provide resources to those dedicated to ending sexual violence against women and girls in the United States. A Long Walk Home and A Call to Men have been leaders in the movement to end gender-based violence for 2 decades. The Courage Fund will be their first formal collaboration focusing on healing and community care practices, culturally specific and grassroots education, prevention programming, and public campaigns that influence cultural narratives and change attitudes. The purpose of the Courage Fund is to acknowledge the bravery and sacrifice of those who have spoken out against or survived sexual violence, and to create community-based programs that focus on education, prevention, and healing. Today, we'll be announcing the recipient of our first ever Courage Award, which honors whistleblowers who have risked everything to break this cycle of violence in our community and to support programs for underserved girls and women who are survivors of sexual abuse. The Courage Fund will bring as much focus as possible to the plight of women and girls who both suffer the trauma of sexual harassment and assault and the anguish that attends their efforts to challenge this systemic evil openly. The immediate impact and the long-term ripple effect of sexual violence in our country, especially in African American communities, is devastating. This fund will help us continue to do the work we believe in the most, to center those most vulnerable, while celebrating those who have sacrificed so much to heal so many. The fund was launched with $1 million in seed funding from the Ford Foundation. The foundation's commitment recognizes the critical importance of addressing this issue that affects women and girls, particularly Black women and girls, worldwide. According to a recent study, about 22% of Black women reported being raped, while 41% experienced other forms of sexual violence. For every Black woman who reports her rape, at least 15 Black women do not report it. As alarming, approximately 60% of Black girls experience some form of sexual abuse by age 18. This trauma occurs at the same time Black girls and women are expected to be the primary caregivers in their communities and the lead organizers in our country's paramount social justice movements. As a result, they often recover from sexual violence in silence, and their private suffering is rendered invisible. In addition to Ford Foundation's initial investment, award-winning singer, songwriter, and activist John Legend and NBA player Harrison Barnes have pledged their support as Courage Fund ambassadors. While I am so disappointed to not be able to join you all in the room today, I want to extend my deepest thanks and utmost gratitude for your support of these brave women and girls who have spoken out against violence. And I want to invite you to join us in ensuring that their voices can be amplified and silenced no more. Our hope is that with enough support, awareness, and most importantly, resources, we can not only celebrate and support these valiant leaders, we can build brighter futures for survivors who have been silenced and sidelined for too long.
Please welcome to the stage Salamishah Tillet, co-founder of the Courage Fund.
So thank you, Sarita, Ted, Te-Nehisi, and Charles, and thank you all for being with us this evening. It is my profound honor to be with you all here today because I did not think this day was possible. So I say this as a student of Black history and as a Black feminist scholar, as a cultural critic, and the co-founder of A Long Walk Home. But mainly, I say this as a victim of childhood sexual assault myself, as well as a college rape survivor twice over. I did not know this evening was possible because there were once minutes and months of my life that I did not think I would survive, much less be able to celebrate those women who helped many of us get to tomorrow. Activist, writer, cultural worker, and filmmaker, Aishah Shahidah Simmons, knew none of this when we first met 26 years ago while attending the book party for Charlotte Pierce Baker's just published Surviving the Silence, Black Women's Stories of Rape. She knew more of my story when she interviewed Scheherazade and me in her film, No, the Rape Documentary, a few years later. Back then, we did not even have a name for Scheherazade's photographing my recovery from sexual assault and our eventual performance, Story of a Rape Survivor, which became the first program of A Long Walk Home. Debuting in 2006, it took Aishah 12 years to complete No, the first documentary to focus exclusively on African-American girls and women and their experiences of sexual violence. In the spirit of her mentor, Toni Cade Bambara, she made socially responsible cinema that blended realism, poetry, archival footage, and dance to ground us in the tragic truth of intersectional oppression, while also revealing the remarkable tradition of Black women's resistance and Black survival. Unfortunately, Aishah often paid too high a price. She was rejected by too many funders to mention, as well as racial justice movement friends who felt that she, as a visibly out Black lesbian, had a, quote, axe to grind with Black men. More than 20 years before On the Record, the documentary about the sexual allegations against Russell Simmons, appeared on HBO Max, an HBO executive wrote to Aishah to explain why they could not air her film. Let's face it, very unfortunately, most people don't care about the rape of Black women and girls, the producer wrote. And therefore, we're concerned that there won't be many viewers who will tune in to watch No, were we to air it on our network. That Aishah persisted, finished the film, and continued to launch other projects like her most recent Love with Accountability, a healing space for diasporic Black child sexual abuse survivors and their advocates. We can clap for that. Is a testament to her clarity, her conviction, and her community of supporters, which also included the filmmaker Orlando Bagwell, when he was a program officer here at Ford, to ensure that No reached the finish line. Earlier this month, Te-Nehisi Coates, our fellow co-founder of the Courage Fund, our friend, our dear brother, shared the following in The Message, his latest book, which is about the failure of narratives and the possibility of solidarity and allyship. So I'm going to quote Ta-Nehisi a bit here. I'm writing in the wake of Me Too, which was, among everything else, a movement birthed by words. For it is one thing to sketch a world where sexual assault is a problem in the workplace, and quite another to detail Manhattan offices with rape doors or star anchors ambushing assistants on vacation or actors who claim to be male feminists but leave a trail of abuse behind. What I remember reading the investigative pieces on these cases is how all the activists and academic jargon, all the talk of patriarchy and rape culture and male privilege became solid and embodied in a way that did not just leave me convinced, but implicated me. It was not news to me that I was privileged as a man, but I now felt that privilege with a new horror. I thought about my own career and understood that whatever challenges, a rape button did not rank among them. So before Me Too emerged as the world's largest social media movement, Aishah Shahidah Simmons had long created a movement of her own. Traveling through cities, visiting college campuses, and traveling to other countries to fundraise and share the message of No. She launched makeshift campaigns everywhere she went for underserved rape survivors, especially Black women and girls, to be heard, to heal, and to have a sense of justice and to save themselves. And so now it is my great honor to invite her to join me on stage and receive the inaugural 2024 Courage Fund Award from the Courage Fund for her path-breaking film, No, the Rape Documentary, her visionary leadership with Love with Accountability, and her lifetime commitment to ending sexual abuse. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Aishah, for all that you've done and continue to do for us all.
Thank you. It's beautiful. All right. All right, so I have some notes and we're on a time limit. So I will say, I begin by honoring the ancestors whose spirits guide me, those whose strength flows through my veins. I remember Granny Rhoda Bell Talbot Temple Robinson Hudson Douglas, Aunt Jessie Neal Hudson, Nana Rebecca White Simmons Chapman, Nana Juanita Cranford Robinson Watson, Aunt Elizabeth White Patterson, and cousin Margaret White Palmer, among others. I also recognize those not related by blood: Harriet Tubman, Ida Wells Barnett, Ella Baker, Siaji Bakin, Reverend Dr. Leon Wright, Audre Lorde, my teacher, Tony K. Bambara, Denise Cecile Jones, and Dr. Bernice Johnson Regan. Their courage fuels my own. I express my profound gratitude to my divorced parents, Michael Simmons, who is here, and Dr. Gwendolyn Zahara Simmons. At 79 and 80, they have devoted their lives to the relentless pursuit of peace and justice, both in the US and around the globe. Thank you for giving me life and for raising me to fight the power and stand against injustice, even if I am the lone voice. Little did they know how deeply that teaching would resonate with my life. I bow deeply to the love we share, grounded in accountability. To my beloved partner and fiancé, Sheila Alexander Reed, you are my rock, unwavering in your support amidst your own demanding, high-powered life. You are my tear catcher, my dream holder, my shoulder to lean on, and my trusted confidant. I love you fiercely now and always. I am surrounded by so many in this room and beyond who have supported me in countless ways for the past 30 years and longer. I love you, and I'm deeply grateful for each of you. Finally, I reflect on my 12-year journey to create No, the Rape documentary, which began with Tamara Xavier in October 1994, at a time when Black women and girls who dared to speak out against intracommunal sexual violence were often labored traitors, and Black lesbians were seen as a threat to our community. To receive the incredible news that I'm being honored along with my sister Sparkle, the inaugural Courage Award, exactly 30 years later, is a powerful testament that my work was not only worth the risks I took, but also the tremendous sacrifices I made. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the founding members of the Courage Award, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Camilla Forbes, Salamishah Tillet, Scheherazade Tillet, Ted Bunch, and Tony Porter. I thank you to Portia Gardner, Kelly Gerard, Charles Blow for honoring my journey. I'm truly humbled and profoundly grateful to receive this award from these trailblazing Black change makers, two of whom, Salamishah and Scheherazade, I have loved and cherished for 26 years. Abolition now, love with accountability, free Sudan, Palestine, Congo, Lebanon, Haiti, Myanmar, in all countries ravaged by genocidal violence. May all beings everywhere and without exception be free from greed, hatred, and delusion. Aishah.
Please welcome to the stage Scheherazade Tillet, co-founder of the Courage Fund.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful night, right? Yes. Today's good. I'm Scheherazade Tillet. I'm an artist. I'm a co-founder of the the Freedom Fund and A Long Walk Home. The Courage Fund, sorry. A little nervous. Yeah. But no reason to be. Only because it's so good. It's emotional joy and a long time coming. Yes. I get to give a word tonight to Stephanie Edwards, otherwise known as Sparkle. Woo! I'm going to talk a little bit about Sparkle. Sparkle is a platinum recording artist. She started her singing career in a family gospel musical group. Both music and family has always been important to her. As a singer, she has worked with several artists: Mary J. Blige, Kelly Rowland, Toni Braxton, and Aaliyah, just to name the few. Her self-titled album, Sparkle, was released in 1998 and debuted #3 on the Billboard charts and number 2 on the R&B charts, and would later go gold. A humanitarian first, Sparkle sacrificed her career and so much more to become an advocate for abused women and girls. Her life dramatically changed when she learned about the sexual abuse of her niece by long-term mentor and singer, R. Kelly. She said, "I needed to act quickly, and that's exactly what I did." She anonymously contacted the Children's and Family Services, which would later lead to unfound abuse due to lack of evidence. Risking it all, her family, her friends, and her music career, she continued to seek justice. She would then identify her niece, a teenager, on the videotape with the Chicago police and publicly spoke out on the radio about R. Kelly's abuse. This led to charges in 2002. The trial began in 2008 with 21 counts of child pornography. Stephanie Edwards, Sparkle, would be a key to the testimony against R. Kelly. Unfortunately, those charges were dismissed. Almost 10 years later, in 2019, she played a critical component in validating the allegations against R. Kelly in a groundbreaking documentary produced by Dreamhampton, Surviving R. Kelly. And in 2001, almost 20 years after the original charges were made, Stephanie Sparkle Edwards would testify again here in New York City for the federal trial, but now with dozens of women and 3 decades of abuse for Black women and girls. Her testimony helped lead the first conviction and sentencing of R. Kelly. Sparkle describes, "The last 20 years have exhausted me, and it has been a lonely road." I remember when I first met Sparkle, her saying in 2020, "If people listened to me and believed what I was saying, maybe we wouldn't be here now." Decades of fighting and advocating for her niece, Black women and girls, Sparkle is now publicly recognized as a catalyst for females courageously speaking about abuse endured in the music industry. I am, like I expressed earlier today, extremely emotional about giving this award to Sparkle. I often describe that the R. Kelly case is one of the most significant cases for Black women and girls in the United States. It shows how many systems failed Black girls for over 3 decades. From child marriages, to child pornography, to sex trafficking. See, I live in Chicago, and I work with girls who spoke about generations, mother and daughter, who have been impacted by his abuse. I also consulted on Surviving R. Kelly and did a wellness check to a mother who experienced suicidal ideations when her daughter went back to R. Kelly and told me personal accounts of all the abuse. So I know personally about Sparkle's impact. Yesterday was the 7th anniversary of the Me Too global movement founded by Tarana Burks. A day that over 24 million people participated on social media and Twitter and uttered the words, "Me too." We're also having another moment right now, on the heels of many survivors looking for justice against Sean Diddy Combs. We're just beginning to really understand the impact of all this in the entertainment industry. Today, we give the Courage Award to Sparkles for her unyielding commitment to seeking justice and truth for sexual assault survivors. This unyielding commitment inspired Ta-Nehisi Coates and us to create the Courage Fund. This award is for you, the many sacrifices you've made in the music industry and your career. This award is for the many women and girls and gender nonconforming youth in the entertainment industry who are searching for the words to describe the unimaginable and begin to heal. This award is for every family member who comes forward about sexual abuse and has lost family members as a result. This award is for the Black girls living on the west and south side of Chicago, who you once were, who I work with, who your niece is. This award is for you, to remind you that you no longer have to walk that road alone, that we all are walking with you. And before I present this award to her, I just wanted to describe this award. We got this award made in Chicago. It was a mile away from R. Kelly's studio. It was made by survivors of trauma, 2 Black young boys, 2 young Black girls. They're taking fire bluing. They've been working for 10 years in this field, since 13 and up, so they're very young, and I got to witness it, and so it's incredibly special. And I'm so excited to give this to you tonight, Sparkle.
I'm already in tears, y'all. Thank you, guys, thank you. Okay, I would first like to give honor to God, for I would not be here without him holding my hand, holding me up, just keeping me covered, because it has been a long road. Okay, I need a tissue. Firstly, to my husband, Bruce Wayne Patton, my strength, my long kiss, my held hand. My rock, my steady hand, my protector. There's so much I could say about him, but I love you. I thank you for standing in the trenches with me, for taking some of the blows for me and with me. I love you. Thank you. To the Courage Fund, Te-Nehisi, I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm about to mess up everybody's name. Thank you, sir, for seeing me, for noticing me, because in this journey, I felt like I wasn't being noticed or seen by my peers, my family, my friends sometimes, and just the world. A long journey, guys. But I thank you, Te-Nehisi, for just that, for this Courage Award, for everyone that's involved, to Cher, I'll call her Cher, and her sister, I don't want to mess up her name, Saul, the Tillet sisters, okay? Okay, there we go. Thank you, ladies. A long walk home, you guys. The Chicago love, I feel it. To Ted Bunch and Tony Porter of Occulted Men for being a part of this honor award, and for Charles Blow as well for being a part. Thank you guys for just wanting to honor myself and Aishah. I know she appreciates it, and I do too. It's such a great honor. Look, I have a big mouth, and y'all have wanted to recognize me for my outspokenness, for my courage, for my sacrifice, and for just shedding light on the music industry and all of its you know, and I really appreciate you guys, and I thank you. I really can't thank you guys enough. This honor is blowing my mind. Like, y'all see I'm snotting up here, and it's not cute. But I really appreciate the honor. This is really something. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.